excessive gas. Now, some people refer to that as, gas going up, like belching, but most people refer to gas as like passing gas. And sometimes that excessive gas can be a little embarrassing, and we want to figure out, why do we have the excessive gas? And if we do have the gas, if it's really foul smelling, we want to also understand like what's contributing to that symptom. Question number one, does the gas typically happen after we eat, right? Is it in between meals? Is it rarely in the morning when I've been fasted overnight and before I eat breakfast, do I ever have gas then, right? So we try to understand, when does it happen? If it happens around food or shortly after we eat or in between meals, but doesn't really happen in the morning when we haven't eaten for a while, then obviously we want to look at food. How are we reacting to the food? Do we have a genetic predisposition to gluten? Do we have food allergies? Do we have food sensitivities? Remember, which are these delayed responses where maybe that gas happens 3 hours later. Maybe it's something that we ate a few days ago, a few weeks ago, that contributes to the overall picture of that gas production. One of the most common things I see is when we're waiting for test results, sometimes I'll give different dietary suggestions to follow, and sometimes they already come back and say my gas is significantly reduced. Right, so now you just removed food triggers, right, that were driving that problem, and maybe with the testing, we can identify a few more that we weren't able to just suggest just without testing, right? So we want to get the food dialed in, and we want to make sure that we're removing the things that are negatively affecting the patient. Question number two is physiology intact? Which means, do we have enough digestive enzymes to appropriately digest all those foods so everything is digested and not undigested? Because remember, undigested food proteins, they can lead to food reactions. So we want to make sure we break down those food particles, get access to the nutrients that we need, the vitamins, the minerals, the essential fatty acids, the amino acids. We want those nutrients because we need to absorb those into the bloodstream and have access to those. But when we have low stomach acid, or when we have low digestive enzyme output or poor gallbladder health, right, that can also contribute to gas production. It's a hierarchy approach, right? So it all starts in the mouth with chewing and saliva. And do we have enough stomach acid? Is there enough digestive enzymes being produced from the pancreas? Is the gallbladder doing its job? Is the motility good? Are we absorbing nutrients? And is the colon healthy? We want to go through that whole list. Do we have all the physiology intact and the biochemistry intact? The third category is, what's the health of the microbiome? If we eat and all that food eventually makes its way down, is it reacting with anything in the microbiome, like bacteria, yeast, candida, parasites? Remember, all these can gobble up the nutrients or like the undigested food that we're feeding it, or the sugars or the carbs, and they can make their own gas, and it can really, really smell. It doesn't matter what they eat. Maybe they're on an autoimmune paleo diet or a keto diet or carnivore diet, or they're vegan or whatever their diet is. Sometimes they're like, it doesn't matter what I eat, I have excessive gas. And then you might be more curious about the microbiome, right? Because yes, their diet maybe doesn't feed the bugs as much, but is it going to get rid of a parasite or a bacteria or yeast? So we look at a stool test or organic acid test to try to understand what's the health of the microbiome, right? So those are the things that we want to make sure that we test for is food sensitivities. We want to make sure everything's working the right way in terms of stomach acid, digestive enzymes, gallbladder health, motility. And then we want to get down in the colon and look at that microbiome and see, is there anything that is imbalanced that is contributing to our gas production? So we want to make sure that we understand what the mechanism is and then develop a protocol around your individual test results.